So I can't talk. I can't speak about a guy that I just have nothing good to say about.
It changed it all.
Well, I think when those things came out, it was just simply about a guy doing something that was a goal. But that was before a guy opened up his mouth and you found out who that person was. So I don't even remember the things that were said because right now they've been taken away by hearing a masquerade of things now.
You've played a lot of bad guys. Would you ever play Donald Trump?
Never. There's nothing about him. There's not one redeeming thing in him that I can see ever. He's so, as we all know, so narcissistic and self-centered. I don't think they really understand. And historically, from what I see, even in Nazi Germany, they had it with Hitler.
Kevin Hart just compared Trump to a WrestleMania character and the audience lost it. The comedian went full savage mode, mocking Trump's weird claims about windmills causing cancer while De Niro sat there with that iconic death stare we all know. This wasn't just any roast. When De Niro got his turn, he didn't yell or jump around like Hart. He just calmly called Trump a two-bit con and dismantled him piece by piece. Two completely different styles of takedown that left Trump supporters scrambling to defend their orange hero. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
Well, I don't touch on any political themes when I'm doing stand-up comedy because I'm not that much of a political person. Within this political time, when you talk about the candidates, it's very hard for me to talk about it because there's things on both sides that aren't really standard.
I wanted to ask you if your film, What Now, touches on any political themes, and if not, what political candidate, presidential candidate, Trump or Clinton, would be better for your routine?
I think there's a lot of problems in our world today that aren't really being addressed properly, so I choose to not speak on it at all. I'm a person that loves love. I'm a person that loves to bring people closer together, and if you don't stand for that...
Kevin Hart just delivered what might be the comedy smackdown of the year against Donald Trump. And let me tell you, it wasn't your average political joke fest. When Hart steps on stage, he doesn't just tell jokes. He becomes a one-man comedy hurricane. The way he tore into Trump had the whole audience practically falling out of their seats. What makes Hart's takedown so effective is how he brings his signature stand-up style to political roasting. Unlike those celebrities who tiptoe around Trump jokes with careful punchlines, Hart went full throttle. He turned the former president into something straight out of WWE, complete with all the ridiculous character flaws but none of the entertainment value. The best part might be Hart's legendary "Are you serious?" face that he pulled out whenever quoting Trump's most bonkers statements. You know the face, eyes wide, head tilted, looking like he just heard someone claim chocolate milk comes from brown cows. That expression perfectly captured what goes through most people's minds when Trump suggests things like injecting bleach as a medical treatment or claims windmills are secret cancer factories. Hart didn't just tell jokes about Trump, he became Trump in the funniest way possible. He nailed those awkward handshakes where Trump tries to yank people's arms off like he's starting a lawnmower. He mimicked how Trump squints at teleprompters like they're written in hieroglyphics. The physical comedy had people wheezing with laughter. Some of Hart's most brutal jokes landed like precision strikes. Comparing Trump's Twitter rants to an angry raccoon writing policy had the audience howling. But what's genius about Hart's approach is that he often just repeated Trump's actual words verbatim. No embellishment needed when the original material is already that absurd. You could track the success of Hart's routine through the audience reactions alone. First came those shocked gasps when Hart went places other comedians wouldn't dare. Then the uncontrollable belly laughs as his rapid-fire delivery hit target after target. Hart kept them rolling with his energetic, no-holds-barred approach. After Hart's energetic approach had the crowd in stitches, the temperature in the room suddenly plummeted. There's something truly chilling about watching Robert De Niro, the man who brought Vito Corleone and Travis Bickle to life.
We've heard you talk about the former president. You have called him a fraud, a con artist. You've said he's a New Yorker like you, and you have watched this brand of BS.
I think of how absurd it is. And this might be the one case where that could be it for him. It's a state case. He's sick. He is really, genuinely a sick person that somehow has been allowed into our system.
Calmly dissect Trump with the practiced precision of someone who knows the difference between actual power and orange makeup. While Hart bounced around the stage throwing verbal jabs, De Niro just leaned forward with that iconic death stare we've seen in countless gangster films. No jumping, no shouting, just quiet, measured disgust that somehow felt more devastating than any punchline could. It's like watching a documentary about sharks right after seeing a cartoon about them. Suddenly, the threat feels very real.
Does it give you some sense, not of joy, but of relief at least, that he's potentially facing some consequences? Because, as you've said before, this guy's a con artist, and he's gotten away with it for years.
I'm not calling him, I'm tired of calling him names. He just can't be anywhere near the office of the presidency. It's funny, I was just thinking that he actually became president. He could have done good things. Instead, he had to do it all wrong.
Two-bit con and wannabe gangster might not sound like the most creative insults, but when they come from the mouth of Robert freaking De Niro, they hit different. This isn't some Twitter comedian taking cheap shots. This is the guy who defined what a tough guy looks like on screen for generations. When he calls Trump out for playing pretend, it lands like a punch to the gut. Perhaps his most cutting remark was labeling Trump a disappointed Dunsky, delivered with that signature squint that made audiences visibly uncomfortable. The room didn't burst into laughter. Instead, people shifted nervously in their seats, exchanging glances like they were witnessing someone being put on a mob hit list. That's the power of De Niro. He doesn't need to make you laugh to make his point. De Niro's takedown of Trump's tough guy act carries extra weight because, unlike Trump, De Niro actually knows what real strength looks like. He's studied it, portrayed it, and embodied it in some of cinema's most powerful roles. When he dismisses Trump's macho posturing, it's like a master chef telling you your microwave dinner isn't real food. The actor's calm dismantling of Trump's business record, stating plainly that every company he touches turns to dust, wasn't delivered as a joke. There was no punchline, no laugh break. It hung in the air like a prosecutor's closing argument, making it feel less like comedy and more like a factual assessment of Trump's failures. What's fascinating about this whole saga is how Trump supporters can't take a joke, labeling any criticism as Trump derangement syndrome. They're actually calling De Niro's commentary peak derangement, as if calling out nonsense is somehow crazy. Meanwhile, these comedy takedowns are going viral and actually shifting how people see Trump. The beauty of this tag team is that it attacks Trump from every angle. When you combine Hart's physical comedy with De Niro's intimidating presence, Trump has nowhere to hide. One minute he's a punchline, the next he's being dissected like a mob boss who's lost his edge. The most powerful part? Neither comedian needed to make stuff up. Trump literally writes their material with his own mouth. No wonder these viral moments stick around. They're holding up a mirror to reality, and even Trump can't tweet his way out of that.